check that girl out, man. She's gorgeous. It was like an immediate connection. It was unlike anything I've ever experienced.
You went to her hometown and she did not have you to her place of residence? Or was she trying to hide something from the beginning? Interesting. And welcome back to Milwaukee Uncut, our first ever and potentially last episode of Cream City Connections. We've got a story for you today about a man who found love outside of the state that lasted for an illustrious 3 weeks, and now he is back in the game. Before we dive in, just a reminder that Milwaukee Uncut is produced in the heart of Walker's Point at Storymark Studios in partnership with On Milwaukee and presented by Nicolet Law, the Midwest law firm, and 3 Sheeps Brewing, the beer Wisconsin drinks. And if you are looking to have a beer or 12 on Brady Street, like our guest here today, we recommend 3 Sheeps, the beer Wisconsin drinks. All right. Joining me on this episode, we have got Tim Sabin making his debut. An all-around good guy, a trainer at F45, also trains other elite athletes like Joseph True and TJ Kavanaugh from Blue Mountain Country Club, and is a good friend of our main guest today. So he's just coming on as a co-host and support staff member. Tim, welcome to Milwaukee Uncut.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
And sitting on the left side of the couch, we have Hayden Lambert.
Hello.
Hayden is a bartender over at Club Brady who has witnessed some of our main guests' theatrics on Brady Street, so can give a expert opinion and a first-hand witness. Hayden, thanks so much for coming down today. It's good to meet you.
It's nice to meet you guys as well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And the main attraction for the first and potentially only episode of Cream City's Connections Gone Wrong, we've got a man who was once known as Dancing Cowboy MKE, but has transformed himself into AI Cowboy MKE, and he's wearing the hat. He is probably most well known as someone who gives back to the community through ownership of the Great Clips Tiki Bar at Bradford Beach. His name is Daniel Slade. Slade, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's been many years in the making.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got some newsworthy content right here.
Yeah.
So what happened?
I'm still trying to figure that out, Richie. I mean, it's been a process, but I will say.
Oh, I forgot to add, this guy also won $20,000 at Potawatomi. Last time we FaceTimed you in on the Bartenders Uncut episode, I think that was this spring. So also a very astute gambler. All right, so what happened?
I mean, if we're gonna jump right into it, I guess we'll jump right into it. But I want to clarify it. In my mind, it isn't necessarily over. It is maybe on pause. We'll see, and maybe our guests can weigh in on this.
Yeah, I think you just gotta give us the rundown from start to finish,
yeah.
and then Tim, Hayden, and I are more than welcome to.
Yeah, we'll start from the beginning. So I was in Minneapolis. So every 2 years there's a Great Clips convention. Again, here in my own personal capacity, not as a representative of Great Clips or a Great Clips franchise. I'm a Great Clips franchisee as my personal thing. So we're there for a convention that happens every 2 years. You bring the franchisees, general managers, and managers. It's this big event. Great Clips Corporate is in Minneapolis, and it's really fun. There's learning, social activities, networking, and condensed. It's like you arrive Sunday night, leave Tuesday morning. So
it seems like you did some great networking.
I mean, I tried, but I was there with I have about 15 salons that either I own or manage for my parents, who have transitioned into retirement. So a significant group. My parents were there as well. Also took one of my employees here from Wisconsin, a good friend who's kind of helping me maintain my ability to work at my day job while having responsibility for these salons. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, hey, his name's Keith. Keith, check that girl out, man. She's gorgeous. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And I kind of like keep seeing her throughout the day. This is the first night we're there. And I'm remembering, okay, I have a really close group of female friends here in Milwaukee. I've like spent a lot of time with girls I went to Ibiza. And I've observed like successful opens and like how guys talk to them, how they interact with them. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try some of the stuff that I've learned over the last 6 months. And went up, like broke the ice, made contact, and it was like an immediate connection. I mean, we ended up just talking for hours that night, laughing and just kind of getting to know each other. And I mean, that was the first night. And so the rest of the convention was going to happen the next day. So, I mean, we just kind of went our separate ways, didn't really do anything more than that. But the second day, like throughout all the programming, kind of like, I mean, there's 5,000 people here, but throughout the day, kind of saw each other randomly throughout and, you know, smiled, said hi. And then at night was the big party, the big like formal dinner, awards, like this huge thing. And, you know, hundreds of tables. So I'm at a table with all the people we brought, my parents, you know, kind of close. And I look behind me at the table and behind us, and she's there with her GM.
What should we call her on this episode?
She needs like a cool code name,
yeah,
you guys.
Yeah, and I want to be very clear. Like, I want to respect her.
This is all fresh.
Yeah. What do you think, Hayden?
I don't know.
You got this, Hayden. What should we call her?
Describe her in one word.
Electric.
She can be like, isn't there like
Electra?
Yeah, there you go. Electra.
Okay.
Right, Electra. So you spotted Electra at the table behind you.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. I mean, that's interesting. As the night progresses and it gets past like the speeches and awards and gets to the dancing and the music and stuff, she and her staff make their way over it. And then from that point forward, it was just like the repeat of the night before times 5. I mean, just immediate chemistry. Like we just talked. And I remember like going, I mean, after hours and hours, we shut down the party, went out in the city with a group of people, but I mean, we were talking the whole time, and it was just nonstop laughter, getting to know each other. It was unlike anything I've ever experienced. It was incredible. It was awesome. It felt great. We add each other on Facebook. It was really surprising to me. This person is not have social media, like very limited social media, just Facebook.
How old is she?
30.
And you are?
40. But
age appropriate.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I also have like I'm not going to say I'm like your level of social media or, you know, Hayden's or anything, but like I do have multiple social media accounts, and you know, it was surprising to see such a limited like social media presence. But so just on Facebook. So
not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing at all. Just surprising, given, you know, the.
Or was she trying to hide something from the beginning? Interesting. Keep going.
I don't think so.
Keep going.
I don't think so.
All right. So night 2, you were out on the town in Minneapolis with the group.
Yes.
Were your parents at the bars?
No. My parents are some of the first
what
people
about your
to.
staff? Were they?
They're there. They're
okay.
there.
Wow. Okay. So this is in front of your staff.
Yes.
What happened at the bars?
There's only one thing that's going to prevent me from like devoting 100% of my attention to staff, and that is this. This is the only scenario. And I really
Does
still
your staff want you to devote 100% of your attention to them when they're out on the town in Minneapolis?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Okay, you keep going.
But Keith was there, and Keith, you know, he helped. But I mean, I really was interacting with them as best I could. But I was just so enamored and awestruck. Like it was just, you know, my attention was elsewhere. I'll be the first to admit it. So it's get back to the hotel. Well, we also ended up coincidentally staying at the same hotel. So we get back. I mean, it's late. I go to my room. We're kind of talking on Facebook throughout the night.
And you go to separate rooms and you're talking on Facebook.
Yeah. And honestly, I haven't had a conversation on Facebook in years and years. I mean,
did you invite her to your room or no?
I'm probably sure I hinted at it. But
okay. All right.
I got the sense that it wasn't
fair. Okay. So you guys are in the same hotel in different
she's
hotel
with her
rooms,
coworkers. Keep in mind, she's with her coworkers.
Yeah.
Okay. And turns out she was sharing a room with her coworkers. And that's a conversation another time because I mean that like my organization, that's not going to happen. Like,
were there male and female coworkers sharing the same? Okay. That's not too abnormal, I don't feel.
But, whatever. Anyway. So we're talking Facebook and then she's like,
did you get her number or is this just Facebook chat?
It's just Facebook chat for right now.
Okay.
Right now. So then she does ask what room I'm in. And then like 5 minutes later, I hear this like super loud knock at my door. And it, where your mind goes. You're like, okay, come over. Who knows what's happened? But then I just hear this super loud knock at my door. And I like get up, open it, and nobody's there. And it was just like, okay, that was weird.
It's like a ghost.
It was a ghost.
Okay.
So it was, okay, come to find out later. They were doing ding dong ditch on me. These are like adult women. 30-year-old, the GM's like 45. The other manager's like in her 40. I mean, I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting, but I'm like, it's kind of like school kids, like maybe she is interested if she's gonna like do that, be like a boy pulling a kid's hair, boy pulling a girl's hair. And this would remind me of. So I was like, hey, it must mean you really have a crush on me or something. And she kind of laughed about it. And we talked a little bit more. And ended up like, okay. Then, stopped talking, went to sleep, got like 2 hours of sleep, maybe. Wake up.
What time did you go to sleep?
Probably like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Awesome. Okay. So you're up at 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not much sleep. So
and day 3 starts of the Great Clips Tiki Bar Convention.
Yes.
Okay. So
we're at this thing, and I'm there with my parents, exhausted, with my staff, exhausted, doing the best I can to pay attention. And it's all good. But she never comes. She doesn't arrive. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I'm, messaged her on Facebook. I don't remember exactly, but
you don't have her number.
Don't have her number.
Okay.
So she responds and says, hey, we're at the hotel still. We're about to get on the plane. They weren't coming to the last like morning of stuff, which is just like wrap up, breakfast, stuff like that. It's still a couple hours, but they just weren't planning on doing it. So they were leaving. So I'm like, okay, I got to go say goodbye to this person. I might not ever see her again. I want to say goodbye. That was, we had a lot of fun, and it was like an abnormal amount of chemistry and connection. So I kind of ran back to the hotel and said goodbye. And I was like, can I get your number? And she's like, I think she didn't want to do it in front of her coworkers or something.
So the GCTB is at a different area than the hotel. So
yeah,
you go there, you don't see her there, and you go back to the hotel.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. And you ask for her number, and she's hesitant.
And she's getting as they're getting in the taxi to the airport. And I look at her, and the coworkers are just kind of laughing. I look at her and we're looking at each other.
Coworkers like you?
Yes, very much. Very much. And so I just messaged her on Facebook. I'm phone number, and she gives me her phone number on Facebook. I think she just didn't want to do it in front of her coworkers. Okay, so that's that. She told me later, she's like, you look so sad when I was leaving. And I'm like, oh shit. Did I really? I probably was. I was it was such an amazing connection. And I really thought the chance of ever seeing her or talking to her again was probably really small. But I got her number, And we kind of messaged throughout the day. Like, I mean, we're both exhausted, right? We get home. I'm pretty sure I got home and slept for like 14 hours. And I went to bed at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But then, so we're like talking, and now it's off Facebook, right? It's texting. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, interesting.
You get back
To
the to Landmark on the Lake.
Landmark on the Lake, yep.
The penthouse.
I used to live in Prospect Tower. Shout out to that area. Okay.
Where's she from?
Lives in a bordering state. I'll just leave it at that.
Like bordering Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with Michigan.
That's fine. I would say like between us, like it's 6-hour drive to get to each other.
We'll go with Michigan. All right, keep it going.
Okay. So it's text, and then I'm like, okay, if this is real, I'm not gonna. One, I don't believe you should develop a relationship via text message, right? Like that's just not healthy or normal. It's like, well, let's see if she wants to FaceTime. I'm like, hey, do you want to FaceTime tonight? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. And then from that point forward, like that was Wednesday, we FaceTimed every day for hours and just like got to know each other. And it was just so fast. And so the connection was real. Like it was a real thing. And okay, I mean, like we're talking back to our home places, FaceTiming day 3. We're making plans a month out. Let's, I'm a concert guy here. I had sweet tickets for Lil Wayne. I had sweet tickets for Justin Timberlake. I was like, hey, I have these concerts. Would you have any interest in going? Yeah, absolutely. We booked tickets for her to come to Milwaukee. And then there's, just continued. I mean, and then eventually it was like, and we're both on the same page here, like both on the same page. We're both invested. We're making it. That connection's there. And I'm just like, this is crazy. Constant check-ins, like, is this crazy to you? Yeah, like, it's crazy to her. It's crazy to me. Okay, we both think it's crazy. What? We're invested. We're like making.
Lil Wayne's at the Pfizer Forum.
Lil Wayne was at the Pfizer Forum. Yeah. Now this is weeks, into the future at this point. That sounds funny, but at that point, like it's like in a normal situation, a couple weeks isn't too bad. But here it's like, okay, like that's kind of a long time, I guess. But either way, like we're making plans, we're doing stuff, and then it's like, let's meet halfway. And you're looking for, is this real? Is the other person doing things to like make it real? Are they invested? And like it just kept happening. Like she was, I was, she was, and you just kept feeding off each other, like really believing in and getting into it. And then we met halfway. Picked a spot on the map. No idea what it was, where it was, what kind of place it was. Just picked a spot on the map. Met halfway, and it like, and you can imagine after talking that much up to that point and then getting to meet each other, it was incredible, right? It was awesome to get to actually be around the person.
So you pick a spot halfway, so you're together
in
Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, Gary, Indiana. Yep.
Gary, Indiana.
Yeah.
Oh my
Sparks are
goodness.
flying.
Is that you're going to Indiana tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to Indiana tomorrow with my mom, you guys.
Okay.
To Gary?
Gary.
No, we have family in Valparaiso.
Oh, that's not as exciting.
As Gary.
Anyway, let's go back to
Sorry about
Gary.
Okay,
What's happening?
so we're in Gary, and we end up staying at this bed and breakfast. It's like 1920 style. Okay, it wasn't actually Gary, Indiana. It was this place. I mean, we arrived at night.
There's not a nice bed and breakfast in Gary,
I
Indiana.
don't think
really?
so. I don't think so.
Okay.
The next morning, we get up and look around. I mean, we're surrounded by like $8-9 million homes. Again, no idea like that was this place. It was beautiful, like amazing, and the bed and breakfast was. It was just, even if it wasn't this, like the place was itself pretty cool. But then it was like, yeah, this is awesome. Like spent time together, and then so that was like Friday night to Sunday. And so then we went like both drove back. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, she drove halfway, I drove halfway. Like that's a pretty good sign of somebody who's interested, right? You know, driving 3 hours.
You met halfway. You stayed over together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for 2 nights.
And halfway is pretty far because this is a bordering state. Like,
I mean, we have
just for
some
an
pretty
example,
big
Michigan.
states here in the Midwest.
Yeah. And like, I mean, most people like I wouldn't even drive to West Dallas. So, you know, that's a pretty good commitment there.
Yeah. That does fit.
But what if she was Electra? Then you might drive all the way to Waukesha or Kenosha or something.
Maybe Oconomowoc.
No. Negative.
No, West Dallas.
Next question.
Gets you at it. Okay, so you're there for 2 nights. What
Yeah.
happened over those 2 nights? Did you guys hook up? Did sparks fly? What happened?
I'm not going to comment on that, but I will say it was a very just amazing experience, unlike I've ever had with anybody. Yeah, and there was absolutely sparks nonstop.
Sounds like a good no comment line. All right, keep it going. Okay, so you go your separate ways.
Yes, so go our separate ways Sunday. Now the plan was then I was going to fly there Monday night and then leave Wednesday. So it's an hour flight. So pretty easy for me. And in fact, like convenient to fly out Monday night after work and fly back in Wednesday morning before work.
Wait, question. That was the next day? Like you came back Sunday and flew back
Sunday
out Monday?
and flew back out Monday night.
Quick turnaround.
But
you do back to backs.
we did back to back.
All right.
Oh, so you flew out and saw her on Monday.
Yeah.
All right.
And but on Sunday I was like, hey, I just want to make sure. Do you still want
So
to?
you're in her hometown on Monday.
Yes.
Okay.
Monday night.
Yeah.
Monday night. So Monday night, Tuesday, she kind of showed me her area. I mean, places she grew up, spent time, like her life. It was awesome. It was great. Incredible. Again, awesome time. I'm just like, holy shit. But then here's the kicker. Wednesday, we're just talking. And again, you're always looking like, is this person taking action to match what they're saying? And she did this whole time. She was talking about, hey, coming to Milwaukee on Friday. I mean, just started talking about it, acting like it was going to happen. And I don't know how it came up, but it ended up on Wednesday morning when she drove me to the airport. We like, okay, let's be boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, let's be in a relationship. Mutual, not one person like pushing it. It was just great. Let's do it. I was like, wow, all right, this is really happening. I mean, so the text throughout the day that she's referring to, I mean, obviously a new thing like that, you're excited and you're talking about it. It was great. But then Wednesday night is when like things first started to like trail off. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like, I think the FaceTime, we had just kind of a routine with FaceTime. Like the before bed FaceTime didn't happen. Okay. I'm sure she was exhausted. Didn't think about it. Thursday seems pretty normal. Texting throughout the day, talking about coming. Friday, just a lot of conversation.
She was supposed to come on Friday.
Come on Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Didn't happen. And then it was just from there.
How many weeks ago is this?
2? 2?
1, 2?
Well, it'll be 2 this
2 tomorrow.
2 tomorrow, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it was just like constant text conversations, nervous, I can't do this. I've been neglecting things here, and totally understandable. Like I there was no problem. I understood. In fact, when we bought the tickets, I even said, if you change your mind or this doesn't work, no problem. You can get the credit for the tickets, use them wherever you want, whatever you want to do. Like it was always no pressure, low pressure. But then it was like, okay, let's keep things long distance. Let's continue building. Great. It's like, it makes sense. And looking back, I mean, we can come back to this. I mean, there's a real lesson here, but that was fine. So I was like, okay, well, we're just, she's not coming, no problem. There's other opportunities. We can continue to build. We'll do this long distance and figure it out. Next day is like kind of back to normal. I'm pretty sure I saw you that morning at the gym.
Maybe.
Saturday.
No.
No?
Haven't been to a Hollywood in a little while.
Oh, okay.
Saw you shortly after that. No, I haven't seen you in a while because I go in the mornings. I saw Tim and Tim filled me in on this.
Oh.
Anyway, maybe
Yeah.
it was Eric Kennedy.
Little
Little
Okay.
pot stir.
little 6 a.m. conversation.
Great.
It was.
Well, actually, it's because we noticed your troubling Instagram post of you walking on Brady Street.
That's when I heard about
that's
it.
unrelated.
You're cryptic. What,
That is unrelated.
Oh,
What
this was
happened?
no, because we're talking about this last week.
So the
He's talking
very
about the week
cool
before.
effect that I did on my walk on Brady Street was me realizing like I have about 3 to 6 months left of living on Brady Street.
That's not how we saw it.
Fair.
We saw the in my feels and immediately were concerned.
You didn't read the rest of it.
I did. It seemed like Edgar Allan Poe cryptic.
So 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels, texted me in the morning, felt like we're getting back into the routine a little bit. I'm at F45 doing my thing. And we just had a couple days or a day and a half of very serious conversations over text. Didn't want to push that issue. That's fine. It was like heavy, no problem. I'm like, okay, now it's time to get back to FaceTime, especially if
Back
we're
to
gonna,
business.
right? And that's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying that, but I'm like, hey, let me know if you want to FaceTime later. She's like, okay, I'll call you later. Two couple hours later, can't do it. Got cold feet, and just like ended the whole thing. And
How
I
did she
think-
end it?
I can't move to Wisconsin. I don't see myself moving. It wasn't.
That's heavy after 2 weeks. She was
Well,
going to
3.
move to Wisconsin. Well, it's heavy.
3,
after like
Richie.
a
It's
year.
3.
Yeah,
This cycle is
I
just
get it.
condensed.
I get it. I understand that. And
Did the
it was no problem.
possibility-
It
did-
was no problem.
Did the possibility of you moving to where? Michigan to live with Electra?
Yeah, were you going to move to Michigan with Electra?
Yeah. Was that a possibility?
It is a possibility.
You're such a staple in Milwaukee.
Right, you can't leave
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You're our cowboy.
Yeah,
That's what this episode is about, isn't it?
yeah.
It's about you don't want me to leave
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
You're a staple, like Richie
Wow.
Heartbroken.
Hayden. And I appreciate you saying that too.
What is Club Brady gonna do without you?
I know.
Sales would just plummet.
Sales would go down 25% at least.
Okay, so how did she ends it? She texts you these messages.
And here's what I liken it to. It was so fast and just rapid from like the high of a new relationship, like official, to not. It was like, I feel like if I were to ever see like a UFO, or what do they call it now? What's the new term? Whatever.
It's still a UFO.
No, well, you know what I mean.
I don't.
Unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP.
Slade, can you close the loop?
I'm
What
telling
was the
you.
conclusion?
Yeah. What is
That's
going
the
on?
conclusion. She ended it.
Is she married?
No.
Does she have a boyfriend?
No.
Nothing?
No.
Okay.
That's it. That's that. I mean, that it was just a rapid,
A
intense
rapid
start.
rise and fall.
Yeah.
As far as we know, though, it's got to be something, right?
Well,
Did you go to her house?
no.
You went to her hometown and
And
she
you-
did not have you to her place of residence.
Where did you stay?
Yeah.
Hotel.
Dude, I think there might be another guy in the picture.
Listen, if this was any other scenario, and I'm not going to say it's 0%. However, I don't really think that that's the situation.
Hayden, as the female on this episode, what is going through your brain right now?
I think it's a little odd that she didn't have you like to her house.
Well, okay.
Because when you invite someone over to like spend time with them, I think that it's important that like you like show someone like how you live. Like your day to day.
Agreed.
Like
Agreed. And I did see that. from.
but it's
from his
different
end.
when you're not in the same environment that she is.
Totally.
You're not getting like the same.
As we were talking, getting to know each other, she moved in with her sister. And unless she has some sort of green screen, and this was some like crazy long play, I saw the evidence of her moving into her sister's house.
So she moved in this 2-week stretch too?
Yes.
Before moving to Wisconsin, potentially?
Yes.
What we need to figure out is what she was up to before moving to the sister's house.
I agree.
I mean, I don't need.
Was this an abrupt move? Did you know anything about this move before? Was she like, "Oh, I'm between rent at this place and this place, and I need a place to crash"? Or because if you're just randomly moving into your sister's in a 2-week stretch where you met the AI Cowboy, something might have happened. She might have left another guy.
Okay, if we're gonna get into this,
we're getting into it. That's the point of Cream City Connections. Milwaukee Uncut.
We go in deep.
She was with somebody. She met me, and didn't want to cheat. So when she got back, she literally said, "I didn't know guys like you exist." Went home, was in a miserable relationship, unhappy. I was the catalyst. She broke up. Like literally, I saw it happen.
Slade, this is a key part of the episode.
This was the tea we have been waiting for. So she met you at a thing, didn't want to cheat on her man.
Yes.
Went back home, left her man,
and moved out.
Moved out with him.
Yeah. The chemistry was out of this world for both of us. I couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it. She said, "I didn't know guys like you existed." Okay. So she went back, we talked, and she's like, "I'm getting the F out of this relationship." She was miserable. They had been dating 9 months. She had moved in with him 3 weeks before Minneapolis. Alcoholic, other guys, his friends at the house every night. She said she didn't feel like she had a home. And she's like, she left most of her stuff in storage to give it a trial period. And she's like, she was miserable. So, I mean, it's not like she left a 5-year relationship because of me. It was just realization that things...
She left a bad situation.
Yes.
Imagine your girl leaves for the Great Clips National Convention and happens to meet AI Cowboy. That's such bad luck.
It's
like, honestly, that's more dangerous than having your girl go on like a girls trip to Nashville.
Yeah. No, maybe. I don't know.
And it turned out pretty bad for him. She left. She's gone.
Well, no one got the girl.
I think the AI Cowboy saved her to an extent.
I said, if you imagine the guy, her ex-boyfriend, and your girl goes to the Great Clips National Convention, you're probably already concerned.
Yeah.
You know, and then she meets the AI Cowboy, and then you have no chance. She comes back, and it's it. That's it.
Yeah, because you're going to run into some major players there in Minneapolis, including a guy who owns 17 salons and a bar on Bradford Beach.
Exactly. So. There's no chance she comes back. Better. No chance she comes back. You're single by the time she comes back.
When she told you she was in a relationship, didn't that like show you like the kind of person she was? Like she was still pursuing you well with someone, even though she was miserable?
No, actually,
I feel like it's a respect thing.
Agreed. And you would always have that doubt, right? Going forward. She actually was very respectful. Like we talked and like got to know each other, but she didn't let it get more than, we didn't.
But she ding dong ditched you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly. That's another. That's
she
another.
Kept it 5th grade. I mean, okay, 7th grade.
Hey man.
But did she I
don't ding dong ditch my friends.
Indiana.
Well, no, she was single by then.
She went home and broke up immediately.
And so, from my perspective, like it was done in the best possible circumstance given the situation, right? She didn't want to cheat. So we didn't do anything other than just talk and get to know each other until she actually broke up with him and moved out.
Commendable move on her part.
I respected it and admired it tremendously. I thought it was like, okay, that's pretty awesome.
Okay, there's no concern that she was just flying by the seat of her pants.
Okay, so that's a fair question. Right? And then we're back to like, okay, is this really happening? Yes, this is going so fast. And in retrospect, that if I wish I would have listened to the voice in the back of my head that said, slow this down and let's talk about it. And I really wish I would have said something like, hey, this is moving so fast, but it feels like it has such potential, and we really do have connection, chemistry. And then now that you're getting to know each other, you're seeing the compatibility. You want the same things. You want to like build towards the same things. I wish I would have said, let's slow down, take it easy, and do this in a more like gradual approach. I wish I would have said it, but I was weighing that against the excitement, the mutual investment of time and energy, and just thinking like, okay,
Thrill factor.
thrill
The Great
maybe.
Clips Tiki Convention. I mean, okay, so I'm just trying to put myself in her shoes now.
Yeah.
So she's in a relationship with someone who's not a good guy.
Correct.
Clearly, if he's having alcohol issues and having his buddies over all the time, if that stuff's true, that not a good partner.
Right.
So then she goes to the Great Clips Convention.
Yes.
Meets AI
Get this.
Cowboy.
First time ever on an airplane.
Red flag.
That's probably more common than you realize.
Red flag.
I don't think so.
I said what I said.
Disagree.
Turned out I'm right.
Hey, just because
Well, I
somebody
mean,
hasn't been on a
like-
plane.
I mean, like I've never met anyone who hasn't been on a plane.
I actually
I'm sure
have.
you
I
have,
actually
you just
have
don't know.
last week.
Do you
In
ask every
Hayden
person you
is-
met?
I talk to a lot of people,
I know
Yeah,
you
she-
do. You
That's-
do, and you're really good at it. But
and I talk to a lot of people, and I feel like vacations are a big thing people love to talk about. Like, oh, like have you gone on any trips recently? Like, they're like, oh yeah, I was just here, or like, like people have like been on a plane. Like that's a normal experience, that like a universal experience. Like you go on a
And
plane.
Hayden is
Okay.
younger as well than Electra by
Yeah.
almost a decade. So
that's fine. That's fine. I really think it's probably more common than you'd think that people haven't been on.
well, I
planes.
agree with that to an extent. More common than people think, but still. Net first plane ride at 30 to the Great Clips Convention. So Electra goes there. She has a not very good situation with her
Yes.
boyfriend,
Yes.
husband, boyfriend.
Boyfriend.
Okay. Goes to the convention, meets you, goes back to Michigan, breaks up with the boyfriend.
Bordering state. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, we already called it Michigan.
Okay.
Well, this isn't coming out till February now, so we can
Okay,
reveal her
Michigan.
location.
It
Was
is.
that right?
You were right.
And it's probably Detroit if it was an hour flight.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So we got Electra in Detroit. And then she goes to, I'm curious where this nice bed and breakfast is now.
Union Pier.
Union Pier. Is that in Michigan or
It's in
is it
Michigan
along the lake?
On the lake.
By
It
Michigan
was-
City, Indiana?
It
Went to a
yes, it
bachelor
is.
party there.
It's
Okay,
like
shout out
north.
Michigan City, Indiana. Okay, so we go to, what was it again?
Union Pier.
Union Pier. Okay, so then she goes to Union Pier. So she probably moves out into her sister's place before then, right?
Correct.
So she gets out of there right away, gets out of the bad situation, goes to Union Pier, and then goes back after the fireworks display at Union Pier between you two, and then crickets. What the fuck happened with her?
Well, Union Pier, and then I went to Detroit.
Oh, and then you went to Detroit,
Yeah.
which went well.
Went incredibly well. It was a continuation.
Besides her hiding her house from you.
Yeah.
No,
But
she moved in-
now
that's-
that there's more details revealed, if she'd moved into her sister's
Yeah.
place, I could see her not wanting Slade to crash at her sister's place.
True.
Right.
Now we know that makes total sense. If
Yeah.
I was like didn't have my own place,
Yeah.
which she
No.
didn't, then I
Yeah.
would go to a hotel. So
In,
that
in,
adds
in
up.
retrospect, I think maybe there probably was an opportunity to, or it might have been beneficial to have met her sister.
Maybe, but
This
Yeah.
whole time I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to explain this to my parents? Like, I just met this girl 3 weeks ago. She's my girlfriend, and we're getting pretty serious, and she's going to move to Wisconsin. I mean, I'm sure they would have been supportive, but any normal family member is going to be like, are
And
you
you're like,
sure?
And you're like, by the way, you were there when I met her.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Wait, why would it have been beneficial to meet her sister?
So here's why I say that is the Wednesday when like things were normal, right? We left each other, Detroit airport, boyfriend, girlfriend, passionate kiss and hug before we leave. She dropped me off. We're texting throughout the day. She even texts like boyfriend heart. Like she thinks I'm her boyfriend. Like she's showing it. texting throughout the day. I'm at work. She calls. She just had like a meeting. She's like, hey, I just wanted to vent. Like, she had a work meeting. I wanted to talk to you about it. I'm like, okay, I feel like that's what boyfriends are there for, right? You vent to your boyfriend. I'm like, okay, great. It's like 1:00. Get through my day. Initial FaceTime, great. And then after that, she doesn't call, or, I'm like, call me when you're ready. And she doesn't call. She says she's watching a movie with her nephew. And I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. But looking back on it, that is the first time after this 2.5 whirlwind week where she really has time to sit down and talk with her sister, who I believe she's close with. So I'm sure the sister's like, what the hell are you doing? You're not moving to Wisconsin with some guy you met 2.5 weeks ago. And again, it wasn't like moving the next week. It was like, the dates that we're talking about was like January 1st. Still fast, still incredibly fast, but it felt right in the moment. But that's why I say probably could have been beneficial to have met her sister.
You think she was preying on your downfall?
Huh?
Her sister.
Well, I think it's just like telling her sister not to live with 2 boyfriends in the span of 5 months.
Right.
That's kind of crazy. That is kind of nuts.
Exactly. I really believe I don't have enough information, but I think any caring normal sister probably is like giving her well-meaning advice. Like that's crazy. Don't do it. My thoughts on it. And the timing just kind of works out.
So we thought her sister might have been
high likelihood of the sister influencing.
sabotaging this.
Yeah.
I think that's
or just like making her think twice about it. I don't know. I mean, sabotage might be aggressive, but definitely planting doubt in her mind.
Planting doubt for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So
Has there been any communication over the last couple weeks?
Yes.
What has it been?
Has it been good, bad?
So after that, like I immediately recognized she needs space. Clearly needed space. A lot had happened so quickly. So that was Saturday was the breakup text. I waited till Wednesday to break
She
that.
texted you to break up.
Yeah.
It wasn't an over the phone call breakup.
No.
A text message breakup is a red flag. She couldn't take
That's
time out of her
that's
day.
two red flags.
Even for
She
people
couldn't-
your age, Hayden,
Yeah,
people,
she
people
couldn't-
still pick up the phone.
Yeah, she couldn't take time out of her day to call you after she had been consistently calling you every night for how long? 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks.
I think
That's an
yes.
inappropriate way to break up with someone, especially if you're
I
saying
agree.
everything
I
is
agree.
true. Like,
I agree. I think she was really okay.
Red flag.
I think
Second
she was
strike.
really going through it, like really going through something. I mean, it was the move, the breakup, the sister, and she works so hard at her job. I mean, she showed me a period of last year where she worked 67 days in a row. She works 6 days a week. I mean, 60, 70-hour weeks. I mean, she works hard and the job is demanding. So she had been neglecting that too. So all these factors, I think, it just came into clarity for her at once, and it was just like, I don't think even I would have the ability to process that all in 24 hours. So I get like she just needed to get rid of the thing that she can just get rid of and not have to deal with, and that was a new relationship that had happened so fast.
All right.
It makes sense.
So what has the communication been like since?
Okay. I gave it 4 days. I was like, 4 days, let's let things cool down. I mean, it was such a confusing, like just rapid end. And it wasn't just, so that Friday, I mean, I literally saw her make the decision of she was coming, she wasn't, she was coming, she wasn't throughout the day, like back and forth 5 times.
Red flag number 3. Okay, carry on.
Absolutely.
yeah. Because I feel like if you make plans, like a commitment to something, like you should follow through.
Yes, I think we can all agree with that.
Like, it's just like something you learn growing up. Like, you say you're going to do something, you do it.
I agree.
All right. So that happened.
And so I waited till Wednesday, reached out, just like, I wanted to break the ice. And I'm also sitting here like, there's no FaceTime, there's no in person. So
You have the right to that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you deserve that.
What just happened? Like what is going on? But I reached out, just tried to, make, kind of a cute, funny message. Hey, hope you're doing well. I know you're going to achieve everything you want. And she was really nice. She's like, responded right away. Thank you for breaking the ice. It was really cute. Like, I've made a mess, but I'm building off the good decisions I've made, something along those lines. And I interpreted that to mean like, okay, she's not back with the ex. That was the good decision, right? She left a bad situation, and that's what it is. And she's getting her life in order. That's what I interpreted it to mean. There's a little bit back and forth since then, but then like trying to get into like, okay, I was trying to gently say, you don't have to move to Wisconsin. Like I have the flexibility. I can spend substantial amounts of time in Michigan if I need to. I can move to Michigan if I need to. I would just like generally trying to say like that wasn't like a requirement for this to work. But she wasn't like, didn't really respond to that. She acknowledged it, didn't really respond to it. Sent her a couple videos like before I went to the Bucks game. She always like said she liked my cowboy gear. She'd never seen me in it. So I kind of sent her a video about that. And she responded, lightheartedly. But anything serious, no response. And then, so it's just been kind of light and minimal. Vastly different than it was, right?
Do we think Daniel Slade dodged a bullet here?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't feel that
you
way.
You can.
I don't feel
you
that
can
way.
keep quiet for
Pipe
a few
down.
minutes. Tim, why do you think Slade dodged a bullet?
This girl flies by the seat of her pants. She's overly impulsive. She's not true to her word. And she just wasn't ready for another relationship after moving out with this boyfriend, whether he's good, bad, indifferent. Like, she just wasn't ready to commit to something as extreme as moving to a different state for a guy she just met. So you would have had more issues than you would have had more issues on the horizon if she stayed with us longer.
Hayden, let's hear from you. Hayden, let's hear from you.
I agree. I feel like he summed it up pretty well. Like, I don't know. I feel like he said all that needed to be said about Electra. She's cute though, you guys.
Tim broke it down pretty good, Slade.
That-
From the
that's-
outside,
You're a fortunate
in,
man. You're a fortunate man right now.
Because you see it differently than we do.
Exactly, because I experienced it from start to finish.
Yes,
But
but
that's
when
the
you
thing,
talk about it, like
You
the
don't
things
see
that
it.
you
You don't
say.
see the logic. You see the emotion. We see
just
the logic.
Reverse, just the reverse.
No.
Slade, there was zero logic in any of this. This was emotional fireworks.
Yes.
yeah.
You're
Listen,
too. You're
Thinking
too far
with
in.
something other than your brain.
Yeah.